Let's be honest, when you hear PostgreSQL, what comes to mind? Probably a traditional, rock-solid, super reliable relational database, right? And you wouldn't be wrong. It's been the gold standard for years when data integrity is everything. But what if I told you that's just the beginning of the story? So, is it just a relational database? That's the big question we're going to tackle in this explainer. We are going to peel back the layers on Postgres, and I think you're going to be surprised to find out it's evolved into something, well, something much, much more. Okay, first things first, let's talk about why Postgres has earned so much respect in the first place. Its entire reputation is built on this core set of guarantees that make sure your data is always safe, always consistent. And this foundation has a name, ACID. ACID is an acronym, of course. It stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. You can think of it like a contract, a promise that the database makes to you, a promise that every single one of your transactions will be handled correctly and reliably, no matter what. It's really the bedrock of any database system that means business. So how does Postgres actually pull this off? Well, atomicity and consistency, that's all handled by its incredibly robust transaction management. Isolation is managed through this really clever system that lets tons of transactions run at the same time without tripping over each other. And durability, the big one, Postgres uses something called a write-ahead log, or WAL. This basically ensures that once you've committed your data, it's there to stay even if the power goes out. This is the stuff that lets developers sleep at night. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. While that rock-solid foundation is absolutely critical, Postgres is not stuck in the world of just rows and columns. It's time for our first big reveal. Just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the classic relational model. A single e-commerce order might be chopped up and spread across, maybe a dozen different tables? To get the full picture, you have to do all these complex joins. Now, look at the right. That's the document model. The entire order, the items, the user info, everything is all bundled up in one neat, self-contained JSON document. Way simpler, and often way faster to work with. And here's the punchline. With modern PostgreSQL, you don't have to choose. You get the strict, predictable structure of the relational world and the flexible, fast-moving nature of the document world, all in the same database. The secret sauce here is a native data type called JSON-B. Now, this isn't just storing a blob of text. Oh, no. It saves your JSON in a highly optimized, decomposed binary format. This means you can index it and query deep inside those JSON documents with the same blistering speed and power you'd expect from traditional columns. It literally turns Postgres into a top-tier document database. So, Postgres can act like a NoSQL database. That alone is a pretty huge deal. But its power goes so much further, all thanks to what I like to call the extension revolution. This is what truly transforms it from just a great database into a genuine data platform. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The folks over at Cetus Data, who know a thing or two about making Postgres scale, said it perfectly. Extensions are the #1 reason for this massive shift. So what exactly are these extensions? The easiest way to think about them is like plugins or maybe mods for a video game. They let you add completely new features and capabilities right into the core of the database engine. It's like giving your database superpowers. For instance, you snap in the PostGIS extension and bam! Just like that, Postgres is now one of the most powerful and advanced geospatial databases on the planet, ready to handle all sorts of complex location-based queries. Or what if you need to handle huge streams of data over time, from IoT sensors or maybe financial trades? No problem. The PG_Partman extension automates all the tricky data partitioning, turning Postgres into a lean, mean time series machine. But what happens when your data gets so big it just won't fit on a single server anymore? Well, that's where the Citus extension comes in. It transforms Postgres into a distributed database that can scale out across a whole cluster of machines, handling absolutely massive workloads, all while still looking like one single database to your application. So, being able to wear all these different hats is amazing. But how does Postgres manage to do all of this at scale and, reliably? Well, it all comes back to some of that core powerhouse technology that's been baked in from the very beginning. One of the absolute key tools for this is the database replica. It's pretty much what it sounds like, an exact, real-time copy of your main or primary database. It can take over in a heartbeat if the primary goes down, Or you can use it to spread out the workload, sending all your read-only traffic to the replicas. It's essential for high availability. So how does Postgres keep these replicas perfectly, and I mean perfectly, in sync? The magic, once again, is in that write-ahead log we talked about earlier. The wall is the single, undisputed source of truth for every single change that ever happens to the database. And the process for this, called streaming replication, is just beautiful in its simplicity. Here's how it works. First, every single change gets recorded in the wall before anything else happens. Then, the primary server continuously ships those wall records over the network to all the replicas. Finally, the replicas simply replay those records, applying the exact same changes in the exact same order, keeping them perfectly in sync. Okay, so we've seen how Postgres grew from its relational roots into this multimodal, extensible, and scalable platform. But the evolution is not over, not by a long shot. Now let's look at the absolute cutting edge, where the database is actually learning to get smarter all on its own. This is the question that's driving so much of the innovation right now. I mean, think about it. Instead of just relying on rules that humans wrote, what if the brain of the database, the query optimizer, could learn from its own experience to make better decisions over time? Well, this idea has a name, the Learned Query Optimizer, or LQO. It's a system that uses machine learning to look at past queries, see what worked and what didn't, and then use that knowledge to create way more efficient plans for new queries. It literally learns from experience to get faster. And this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. Research on a system called QO shows absolutely stunning results. On a standard industry workload, it achieved, get this, a 65% reduction in query latency compared to the standard Postgres optimizer, which is already incredibly good. The real breakthrough here is this self-evolving paradigm. The system is always learning, always adapting to new data and new types of queries, automatically. It's a peek into a future where our data platforms aren't just tools, but are true learning systems. So let's just recap. We started with a rock-solid relational database. We saw how it became a multimodal powerhouse, an extensible platform, a scalable distributed system, and now a self-optimizing engine. It really makes you wonder, if one open-source database can already do all of this, what's the next frontier?